How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, this is one of these popcorn videos. I'm going to get real deep. Got some many things I have to say about Pete Buttigieg. And the first thing that I want to get out, my royal family, excuse me here for being a little bit ill prepared. Let me get this back. It is that we know that Buttigieg is gay and married to a man. And Lisa Cabrera had revealed to me when he was running for mayor, and I forget what state he's in, he revealed that later after he was elected. Now, the things that I'm going to talk about, my royal family, is things that usually people are afraid to talk about it. And I know how to talk about things in such a way where if somebody feel offended and want to say something about it, they're going to be disingenuous too as well. Because I can clean up my language too as well. This is very serious. Now, I would imagine somebody in the gay community does listen to the True Royal Family. And what I want to say is, it's just a part of life that gay people that works in many occupations. And if a gay person decides, well, I want to be in the political arena, and whatever you run for, people are going to judge you. People are going to mudsling. And that's just how that arena is. It's a very nasty arena. And we all know there are certain people in America that is taboo. You can't say nothing. And this would be someone that people are very careful about what they say because, unquote, he is a gay married man. And there are some people in America that, and even in the world, that agree with it and disagree with it. I mean, our Father do give us discernment and choices, and whatever your thing is, your thing is. And I know that people are tiptoeing around about judging gay people for their fuckery. Let's put the gay stuff to the side. Like they'll throw at us, well, you pulling the race card. Well, let's put the race card to the side. Human beings fuck up. There are human beings out in this world that do wrong. There's human beings in this world that ain't right. Greasy. I talk about a lot of greasy ass people. But then there are certain human beings in this world, they want to throw up, well, I'm this and I'm that. And so that gives you the right to be core nasty to people? No. I'm a woman. Just use a woman. On top of that, I'm a black woman. We are not a protective class. We feel some kind of way. Does that give me the right to go around and be nasty and greasy to people? Because overall, in America, we don't feel protected. We're not a protective class. And our kings are not either. But do we go around on a high percentage level being dusty, greasy, and nasty? For the most part, we have assimilated to America. We trying to get along and go along and trying to survive in this unquote shithole. Oh yeah, True Royal on one. And we're going to keep it core over here. And I don't like when people put these different things. It was like something, a word that my oldest son used, Delbert, where you're the cloak of this and the cloak of that and the cloak of that, and you can hide up under that. Well, I'm letting the gay community know, y'all got money, and y'all have assimilated quite well in society, and you have your own communities, and you want to be a part of the political process and all these different things. And like anybody else, you are going to be judged. All right? And just for the sake of an argument, my folks don't appreciate the gay community always comparing theyself to the black community, because you can't always tell who is gay. You can't. And just for note, we all have gay people in our family. I have gay people in mine that I love. I don't agree with their choices, but it's still my family, and I personally would feel some kind of way if you did something to one of my gay family members, because at the end of the day, it's still my family. But in turn, since I disagree with their lifestyle, they may disagree with my lifestyle. But we keep it core over here on the True Royal Family. So I'm just putting these things out here, my royal family. So Buttigieg then ran into a situation. And I have an article, and I have 3 videos to show y'all. But one of them videos is a bonus video, and it's juicy. So my royal family, let's see what's really going on in Buttigieg world. So I have an article that I'm going to read. I'm going to put this article here. I'm going to read this article on my laptop, and y'all already know why. Some of these articles I have to read on my other computer because I am dyslexic, but it will be there for the royal family. So this is dated Tuesday, December 12th, 2019. Refund peak trends as early backers request donations. Back after learning Buttigieg not so progressive after all. The honeymoon is over. Uh-oh. What's really going on in your world, Buttigieg? You being judged like everybody else. Though they initially viewed South Bend, Indiana. I'll keep that in mind. He's from out of Indiana. Mayor Pete Buttigieg as an intriguing and progress newcomer when he began his presidential campaign early this year. The Refund Pete hashtag began trending Thursday morning on social media as a growing number of former donors started requesting their donations back in the wake of a recent revelations about the 2002 Democratic candidate. Oh shit, people want their coins back. Christine Hill, a volunteer community leader for the presidential primary campaign of Senator Elizabeth Warren in North Carolina, was one of the first voters to kick off the viral hashtag Refund Pete. If Buttigieg fooled you into thinking he was a progressive at the beginning of his campaign, and you donated what he thinks is pocket change, you can ask for a refund by emailing your receipts to, let me pull this up as I go along, a little taste here. You'll see this right here. You can refund this to PeteForAmerica.com. Hill tweeted. Ooh, the mud slinging is on your ass. In October, Buttigieg criticized his progressive opponents Warren Bernie Sanders for running their campaigns on pocket change by accepting mostly small donations under $200. What's wrong with that? Buttigieg has raised 52% of his $50 million campaign dollars through large contributions and has so far been outraised by Sanders and Warren. Just got my refund from Pete's campaign, wrote one social media user as the refund Pete hashtag took off. It was just pocket change, so he wouldn't miss it. Ooh, folks is pissed. On March 19th of 2019, I made a $10 donation to your campaign, wrote Quinn Ratton. I was thrilled to donate to him to help alongside a few other candidates I determined were progressive in trying to reconstruct our broken political system. In the passing months, Meyer Buttigieg, that's his husband, has repeatedly ran disinformation campaigns about his opponent's plans for improving health care, public, college. I also found his answers on big money in politics to be a borderline disqualifying Ratton ad, and that's him right up here. So, this is his response. He's feeling some kind of way. He donated his $10. And I can personally tell y'all, your $1 means a lot to me. And people will tell you, people who donate to the True Royal family on my GoFund, on my PayPal, on my Patreon, thank you for that $1, because you worked hard for your dollar. And my folks don't have a lot of money. So I'm gonna give you 100%. I'm gonna thank you and give you the utmost respect, even with your $1. I mean that to the depths of my soul. So what else do they have to say here? Let me take this up a notch. Let's see what we have here as I read along. According to testimonies by other former donors, the campaign has agreed to refund requests. Yeah, you don't have no damn choice. Jerry Tinch. Oh, there's okay, I missed the Dave Johnson. I just request my refund. That was on December 11th. So, okay. I see where I'm at. So, this past summer, upon reading about his excessive private jet use and seeing his response to Eric Logan's death, I asked for a refund. I'm glad we are using our pocket change to send a message. Ooh, power in our collective rebuttal to his lack of transparency. Refund Pete. That's what's, boy, you are trending, and sometimes you do not want to be trending on social media. Progressives have denounced the mayor in recent weeks over what many have viewed as his disingenuous attacks on Medicare for all and universal tuition-free public college. Under pressure from progressive critics concerned about his lack of transparency regarding high-dollar fundraisers, Buttigieg finally announced Monday that he opened the events to reporters. Buttigieg increasing attacks on Medicare for all present a sharp contrast to his early campaign when he urged the Democratic field to push for a bolder, far-reaching changes to the U.S. political and economical system during the Democratic debate in July. He said It's time to stop worrying about what the Republicans will say. Let's stand up for the right policies. Go up there and defend it. Buttigieg also said earlier in the campaign that he was opening to packing the Supreme Court and lower courts and abolishing the Electoral College. But since then, a number of critics have in recent months pointed to Buttigieg's alignment with corporation interests as evidence that he will do little to further progressive goals. The Progressive Change Campaign Committee highlights the virtual refund peak trend on Thursday. Ouch. Oh boy. So let me go up here. The honeymoon is over as Mayor Pete comes under pressure, scrutiny some don't like what they see and are asking his campaign to refund their contributions. Refund Pete has been trending. Oh, that's not good, dude, because you calling people's coins pocket change. Pocket change. So, you know how folks get down in America. Like I said, this bonus video will be quite enlightening. So let's get into video number 1. So this is dated October 20th, and we're going to hear what Buttigieg has to say.
Pete Buttigieg is trying to get back into the top tier of 2020 Democratic candidates, and a strong performance in this week's debate paid off with more than $1 million in campaign contributions in the first 24 hours after the debate. Joining us now is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. And Mayor, welcome back.
Good to be with you.
Let's start with your latest poll numbers. In the Real Clear Politics average of recent surveys, you're in 4th place nationally at 5.8%, 4th in Iowa with 13%, and 4th in New Hampshire at 8.7%. As a candidate from the Midwest, and also looking at those numbers, don't you have to finish in the top at least 2 or 3 in Iowa, or you're done?
I think it's certainly the case that a strong performance in Iowa is going to be critical to us winning the nomination, and that's what we're building toward. We've got a terrific ground game there, over 22, I believe, field offices now and 100 organizers, and I think a message that's really connecting with Iowans. You know, Democrats there, first and foremost, of course, want to know that we can defeat and replace President Trump. Also want to know how the policies we're putting forward are going to affect their lives, and whether it's Medicare for all who want it, or the vision we're putting forward on any of a number of issues. We find that it's resonating. Even now, there are so many Iowans who maybe have it narrowed down to a top 3 or so, but are taking their time, evaluating their choices, and we've got our work cut out for us to close the deal between now and the caucus.
You have stalled to some degree in the polls, as we just pointed out, at least nationally, ever since that terrible police shooting in South Bend, Indiana this summer, and folks noticed a more aggressive performance by you in this last debate, taking on Elizabeth Warren on Medicare for All, Tulsi Gabbard on troops in Syria, and Beto O'Rourke on gun buybacks. Take a look at you.
Your signature, Senator, is to have a plan for everything, except this.
Respectfully, Congresswoman, I think that is dead wrong.
I don't need lessons from you on courage, political or personal.
Was that a conscious effort to jumpstart your campaign?
Well, these are also topics I'm very passionate about when it comes to what is being done to not just the Middle East, for example, but to American credibility. The fact that right now, people who put their lives on the line, trusting that the United States would have their back, and are now betrayed, the fact that U.S. troops in the field feel that their honor has been stolen from them by their commander-in-chief. How can you not be fired up about something like that? And this is a season for us to lay out what we care about, what we're passionate about, and what's different among each of the candidates. And I want to make sure there's no question in any voter's mind how their life would be different under my presidency than if any of the others were to be elected.
Well, one of the distinctions you drew sharply is you said that 2021, if a Democrat is elected president, the country can make historic gains on health care and immigration and guns, but not, you said, if they push too far and promise too much. Do you think that some of the solutions that are being offered, whether it's on climate change, Medicare for all, by Senators Warren and Sanders, are too drastic?
I think that we have a chance to build an American majority around bold action, but it is the case that we could wreck that majority through purity tests. Look, take the example of this Medicare question. I'm proposing Medicare for all who want it. It means we create a version of Medicare, everybody can get access to it, and you get, if you want to keep your private plan, we're okay with that. I think that's a better policy than kicking people off of their plan. But I also think that it's something that more Americans can get behind. And when you think about the condition our country is going to be in when this presidency comes to an end, one way or the other, when you think about how torn apart by politics we're going to be, how polarized and divided this country is, this to me is not a political question, it's a question of governing. The good news is we can govern in a very bold and forward-leading direction, but we've got to make sure we do it in a way that moves toward unifying rather than further polarizing the American people.
Not surprisingly, the left is firing back at you when Elizabeth Warren said that she will not participate in big fundraisers, even if she is the Democratic nominee against Donald Trump in next fall. You said this, let's put it on the screen. We are not going to beat him, Trump, with pocket change. Here's how Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez responded. Small dollar grassroots campaigns, a.k.a. what Buttigieg insults here as pocket change, out fundraise him by millions. Our nation's leaders should be working to end the era of big money politics, not protect it. So, what do you have to say to AOC?
Well, first of all, you don't go from mayor of South Bend to a competitive presidential candidate without knowing a thing or two about grassroots campaigning. My campaign is fueled by the contributions of almost 600,000 individual donors, and most of those are small contributions. What I'm saying is that we can't go into this fight against Donald Trump with one hand tied behind our back. Look, the President of the United States and his allies just raised $125 million. They will pull out all of the stops to stay in power. And I think we have a responsibility to the country to make sure that we go into this fight as Democrats with everything that we've got and not unilaterally disarming. We indeed need to end the era of big money politics. That's why campaign finance reform is so important. And it will never happen as long as the folks currently in charge stay there.
The last time you and I talked was in August, and I pointed out to you, perhaps not too charitably, that you were at 0% in the polls among African Americans. There's a new poll out in the last few days. You're now at 2% support among African Americans. When we last talked, you described a big outreach to minority communities, the African American community. Why isn't it working?
Look, for me, this isn't about the polls. This is about making sure
in the
that
end, it is about the polls.
But in order to do well, you need to deserve to do well. And we're focusing on the substance of what I have to offer. Voters want to know how their lives will be different. And in the case of African American voters, they want to know what my agenda is for Black Americans. We're putting forward the most comprehensive plan of any candidate to tackle systemic racism in this country. It's everything from empowering Black entrepreneurs and fueling business development, to making sure we deal with discrimination in housing and in health, to cutting incarceration in this country by 50%, because we know that the criminal justice system disproportionately harms African Americans. We need to continue making that case. It's extremely well received whenever I have a chance to offer it up, but there are a lot of voters who are still sizing up their options, who need to feel like they know you, and our job is to do that in a short amount of time.
I want to press down on this just a little bit, because you talk about needing to deserve it and voters trying to understand who you are. You were supposed to attend a big fundraiser in Chicago on Friday, and one of the hosts was the same city attorney who worked very hard to block release of this video of police shooting Laquan McDonald. The lawyer backed out of the fundraiser. He also donated $5,600 to your campaign, particularly at a time when African Americans are trying to get to know you. Isn't that the kind of mistake mayor that you can't afford to make?
Well, this came to my attention in the morning, and within an hour, it had been taken care of. Look, the situation there and justice and transparency for Laquan McDonald is much more important to me than a campaign contribution. And we did the right thing as soon as it came to my attention.
Can you understand where people would say, well, this is a guy who wants our vote, but he was taking money and was attending a fundraiser being held by the city attorney.
And then we took care of it. Look, I think the biggest question on voters' minds is, how is my life going to be different? Especially when that sun comes up that first day after Donald Trump is president. And the agenda that I'm putting forward, the issues that I want to tackle, I think will speak to black voters and to all voters who are seeking a better life in this country and seeking to turn the page from the chaos and the corruption that we're living under right now.
Mayor Buttigieg, thank you.
You're like the rest of them, Buttigieg. You don't have an agenda at all when it comes to the black community. You got to keep your core up in here. And you are going to be judged like anyone else. And what people have discovered about Buttigieg is that he's going for big donors. And that can be a big issue because that scales down the amount of people that donate for you when you're getting that big corporate money and they want favors. Oh yes, they not just donating just because they feel some way about you. They want you to do something for them. And trust and believe, he gonna do it. But he not gonna be president. But still, he's part of this process. And I'm judging him. So I have another video that I'm gonna show that I felt that was necessary to show the royal family.
Process. AOC has been mostly hands-off for, this big up-and-comer, one of the most high-profile Democratic politicians, especially on social media. She hasn't really weighed in yet. And I don't expect that in general, in terms of endorsing, she'll do that soon. But she did weigh in. She came out and she threw some punches, but in response to one of the primary contenders on the Democratic side throwing punches of his own. And so this was Pete Buttigieg. So in the days leading up to this debate, which is coming later tonight, he decided to attack a couple of the different candidates. And the first is Elizabeth Warren. So he criticized her on her fundraising strategy of, at the very least now, focusing on small dollar donations, and said, we're not going to beat Trump with pocket change. And so this is a criticism that she has faced now that she has apparently made clear, although we'll see about raising money only from those sorts of donors during the general election. A lot of the, normal, do things the way they've always done Democrats are saying, no, you need to raise as much money from as many billionaires as possible during the general election. That is the only way you will be able to contend with how much money Trump will raise. And Pete Buttigieg appears to be one of those people. That argument sort of falls apart when you realize that he didn't raise nearly as much money as the two candidates who did focus on the pocket change. He got beat by the pocket change. But on top of that, before we get to the response, it wasn't just Warren. He's going out there swinging. So against O'Rourke made news recently for implying that churches' tax-exempt status could be taken away if they discriminate based on sexuality and these sorts of things. And so to that, Pete Buttigieg said, I get it. He needs to pick a fight in order to stay relevant, which is not just a disagreement, but a fairly condescending one there. And look, Buttigieg is polling better than Beto O'Rourke. I guess they're both trailing the frontrunners by a significant amount. And it's funny to say that O'Rourke is only doing this to stay relevant as Pete Buttigieg is attacking the other candidates to stay relevant. But you know what? Projection's a big thing, very popular these days. And so he's attacking both of them. AOC steps in and defends both Warren and O'Rourke, saying first, small dollar grassroots campaigns, aka what Buttigieg insults here as pocket change, out-fundraise him by millions. Our nation's leaders should be working to end the era of big money politics, not protect it. And Beto's gun policy isn't picking a fight, it's taking a stand. Now, this is not AOC endorsing these candidates. It would be ridiculous if she endorsed two, and I've seen nothing to imply, especially in the case of O'Rourke, that she's likely to endorse him. but she does feel like she needs to stand for her values. And in this case, I mean, you might think that Beto went too far, and perhaps he did. He does sometimes. He likes to get like in the moment in these little debates and stuff. But it's not like many of these stances are coming out of nowhere when it comes to gun violence, for instance, when it comes to these sorts of things. This is something that he's been talking about for a long time, for all of his other problems. And so for Pete Buttigieg to attack him in that way, to imply that it's just some new development, a last-minute Hail Mary, that's fairly ridiculous. And for someone like Pete Buttigieg, who has not done the work over the course of years to really like solidify any sense of like earned respect in the Democratic electorate, I don't think you're talking from a position of strength when you attack these better-known candidates. And so Beto also responded saying, Pete can belittle the grassroots, he can call buybacks a shiny object, he can say whatever he wants, but guns kill 40,000 people each year. These people deserve action. I'll be fighting for them. And so, look, he comes off looking bad in comparison to Beto O'Rourke on the guns issue, obviously. And these are the sorts of things that make people question Buttigieg. It's the fact that he likes to like get this idea that he's like this young Kennedy, he's this young mayor, whatever, charismatic, has a lot of skills, plays the piano. And yet when it comes to actually taking a strong stance on the issues that people care about, not only does he not do that, but he belittles the politicians who do, which is a bad look in a primary with as many people, especially as many people doing better than he is at present. And again, a reminder, in terms of him belittling the idea that we should get big money out of politics, he's raised $32 million so far through the course of this entire primary, evenly split between small and large contributions. Both Sanders and Warren raised more than Buttigieg in the third quarter of 2019. That's 25 and 24 million to his 19 million. And they got theirs almost universally, far more, especially Bernie, from small dollar donations. So, look, you can have fears about the general election or whatever. He's a centrist. He's going to have those fears. He falls into that sort of groupthink. But attacking the people who have successfully rallied hundreds of thousands and 1 million people in the case of Bernie Sanders to donate to his campaign is not just belittling the candidates, it's belittling the people who make up that movement. And since you're desperate to get those people to support you, that is indeed a bizarre strategy for Pete Buttigieg to take right now. But it's not just the Democratic primary contenders that AOC has been attacking, rightfully so. She also criticized the president. So she had been tweeted at her, I'll say it, AOC's frequent crying only reinforces the stereotype that women are too emotional for politics. This is over her trips to the border, her talking about climate change. These are some of the most important crises that face us. Her being criticized for that seems a bit bizarre, and so she responded saying, Trump sexually assaults women, impulsively allows Kurds to be murdered, boosts videos of shooting journalists. The GOP says, aha, letting your voice shake after seeing firsthand human rights violations at the border and understanding climate stakes makes women too emotional for politics. This is why I wish that she could be in the primary, because she does not back down from any fight, and she communicates perhaps better than any other politician in this country in terms of understanding her values, understanding how they apply to politics, and then understanding how you communicate about the linkage between those two things. And she can do that against critics on the right. She can do that against Democrats running in the primary. She can handle all of those fights while also putting forward bold proposals of her own, including her anti-poverty program that we broke down just a couple of weeks ago on the show.
Well, whatever about her. At the end of the day, anytime anybody is in that type of arena, they have been a compromise, and they're going to uphold white supremacy. I don't care who up there running, what party they are part of, because there's other parties other than the Democrats and the Republicans. We already know that there's other parties out there too as well. So I said that I had a bonus video for the royal family, and now more people are learning about more things about Buttigieg. And I have often said, if you stay on a platform long enough, things will be revealed. People will really see if you are really genuine. We out here using our voices on these little teeny small channels, and we have seen many people that have had channels that start off wonderful and end up ruining their channels or talk down to their subscribers and don't treat them with the utmost respect. And then he wants to downgrade people about pocket change. You know what? I've been doing this experiment for about the last 3 or 4 years. And I wanted to see how much change we are wasting in my household. So I got those 5-gallon water jugs. If I find loose change anywhere in the house, I put it in the water jug, 5-gallon water jug, excuse me. I found out that give a little, take a little with that mixed change. If you fill it up, you'll have somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 in pocket change, booty judge. So that penny is important to me, and it's important to others. And to, for somebody to donate their $1 or their $10 or their 50 cents or whatever they donate, and you put them down and call it small pocket change, people feel some kind of way. So you are appealing to these donors. And see, when you're doing these things, you're doing some underhanded shit and some backdoor shit. And you're busted, booty judge. Because folks is finding out you crazy. So this was dated December 12th. Wall Street Pete, activist, heckle presidential candidate Buttigieg at fundraiser. Let's see what's really going on. 2 minutes of juiciness.
Wall Street Pete! 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 Wall Street Pete!
I'm here for the.
You're in a private residence?
Kevin Ryan's residence? That's the address I got.
Can you come this
What?
way with me?
I'm here for the fundraiser.
Can
you guys just please let me in? I mean, if Pete is trying to be the most transparent candidate for president, he would actually open up his fundraisers to the public. But he's not, so we have to go and try and find and get our ways in.
You're probably a volunteer.
He's running as a Midwesterner, but he spends all of his time in rich people's homes in Manhattan. Why are you guys pushing me? Why are you guys pushing me? Why are you guys pushing me? You're going to call the cops? You're going to get me arrested at a fundraiser for Pete Buttigieg?
You're trespassing
really?
in my house.
Wall Street Pete?
Trespassing in my
Wall
house.
Street Pete? Really?
Trespassing in my house.
Wall Street Pete? You guys are pushing me?
Come on,
Why are you pushing me? Why are you trying to do this to me? No, why are you trying to do this to me? I'm just here for the fundraiser. Why does it come out? Just let him come out. Let me in. Let me in.
Wait, instead of understanding, you called the cops on us? There's no peace.
Where is scared of us?
There's no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace.
Get off it!
Oh, you been busted. Your ass, we don't need to see you. Your ass ain't relevant at all, girlfriend. At all. Your coins. You couldn't get no coins. Oh my goodness, did y'all see that, my royal family? Oh, we gotta watch that again. Let's refresh all of this. Let's get all this refresh. Okay, we're gonna freeze this. Make sure the volume up, because I want to catch all the juiciness. You know how True Royal get down over here. All the juiciness. Let's watch this one more juicy ass time.
Wall Street Pete! 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 Wall Street Pete!
private residence?
You're Kevin Ryan's residence? That's the address I got.
Can you come
What?
inside with me?
I'm here for the fundraiser.
Can
you guys just please let me in? I mean, if Pete is trying to be the most transparent candidate for president, he would actually open up his fundraisers to the public. But he's not, so we have to go and try and find and get our ways in.
You're probably a volunteer.
He's running as a Midwesterner, but he spends all of his time in rich people's homes in Manhattan. Why are you guys pushing me? Why are you guys pushing me? Why are you guys? You're gonna call the cops? You're gonna get me arrested at a fundraiser for Pete Buttigieg?
You're trespassing
really?
in my house.
Wall Street Pete?
Trespassing in my
Wall
house.
Street Pete? Really?
Trespassing in my house.
Wall Street Pete? You guys are pushing me?
Come on.
Why are you pushing me? Why are you trying to do this to me? No, why are you trying to do this to me? I'm just here for the fundraiser. Why does he come out? Just let him come out. Let me in. Let me in.
Wait, is that little city called the cops on us? Because there's no peace. Where is peace? There's no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace. Where is peace? No justice, no peace.
Get off it!
All right, my royal family. Buttigieg, this is not a good look at all. Not one damn bit. It's showing how greasy and grimy you truly is. What's really going on with you, Buttigieg? No, I'm going to keep it real core, my royal family. Because like I said, some people are afraid to speak on this. He is going to private donors. Most likely, they are gay too as well. And they have their own agendas too. We got to keep it core because we got a black agenda that nobody has. I mean, we do have a black agenda and they don't have one. None of these candidates have one. And they got a gay agenda. I know Warren, she has a gay agenda. I know some of them got an agenda for white supremacists. This is the fiber of America. Let's stop being afraid of speaking core ass truth. And that is dangerous when you have private donors that's got big ass dollars because you become a wind up doll. You are a puppet. And Buttigieg is trending, my royal family, is Wall Street Pete. And it may look small, but when crunch time come, folks don't give a fuck. You are in that arena and you are going to be judged. This ain't no plaything. This election here is biblical. And it's a lot of moving parts going on, and we got to pay attention to what's really going on in Babylon. We're watching Babylon fall before our eyes, and we are in the age of exposure, and these coons is being exposed. You know, the enemy is always being exposed, and the gay community need to be exposed too. It's good and bad in everything, my royal family. And like I said, when I started this video out, I said I'm going to speak on some things that some arenas people don't want to speak on, and they know you're afraid to speak on it because they'll throw that up in your face like a fake Jew. They keep throwing that up in our face. You can't even get to the next step with them because you're attacking me because I'm a Jew. I ain't even tripping off of that. You just offended me. I ain't tripping off of you being gay. You just offended me. Why you gotta keep throwing that up? But then when we throw up something and then we 9 times out of 10 we know it's because of who we are. Raw. then y'all throw out the race card. So let's not throw out anything. No, it don't work like that. We have to keep it core. We have to keep it raw and real in America, because this is how the enemy set this up. They made a point of saying, you see those folks over there? Yeah. You see the royalty over there? They scum. Why are you always focusing on us? If we ain't with you, you putting us all down and shit. Why would you be worried about people that which you have already deemed? But at the end of the day, you are begging for our vote because you know your ass cannot get in office without the royal family. And none of y'all, all of y'all, are disingenuous. And it's all about who gonna tell the best motherfucking lie. Trump is going to be back in office. And it's going to speak volumes to the Democratic Party. All of y'all is disingenuous. All of y'all is full of shit. And right now, y'all just on y'all way of tearing down Pete Buttigieg. It's just a matter of time. Cory Booker, your ass coming down too. All of them coming down. This is all a game. And I don't like waffling around on stuff. I like to keep it raw, real, and core. And juicy. Real juicy. I can taste this one, my royal family. So True Royal done said what True Royal had to say. Kept it core, kept it raw, kept it fearless, like I always do. So this is what I need the royal family to do. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words, and it's always my royal family. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.